and welcome back to Wyoming Watch from the Wyoming Tribune Eagle. I'm Noah Zahn, your state government reporter here. This week, our local government reporter Alyssa Tolman took the microphone to the Mary Godfrey Playhouse to meet with the cast of Newsies, the latest musical production put on by the Cheyenne Little Theatre Players. She spoke with two cast members, Jeremiah O'Bryan and Rachel Strysik, and the musical's director, Jessie Klein, to talk about the most rewarding and challenging parts of putting together this musical, which begins performances 2 weeks from today. Here are those conversations now.
So now I'm here with Jeremiah O'Bryan and Rachel Strysik, and they're two actors in the Newsies performance, and they're going to tell me a little bit about their characters and their role and just what they enjoy. So Jeremiah, I'll start with you. So just kind of describe your role to me, like what's your character, what's his name?
My name is Davey in the musical, and I am one of the lead Newsies in leading the strike, which is what the whole show is about. Yeah, I have a little brother, so I like to focus more on being an older brother than the brains of the operation, which has been said in the script multiple times.
And then, is this your first performance with the Little Theater?
No, it's not. I've done one previously, which was Mamma Mia back in 2021. Mm-hmm. So that was really fun, and now I'm back for Newsies. So.
So what's kind of been your most difficult adjustment trying to get into this role that you play?
So I would say my most difficult adjustment would be honestly dealing with having a little brother, because I'm the youngest in my family. So learning how to deal and work with a little kid that's your brother, and just learn all the parts of being an older brother has been it's been fun and difficult, but it's also been a really good learning experience, I would say. So I'd definitely say that. And also the dancing's pretty difficult to do, so yeah.
So do you think this role has made you understand your older brother better?
I would say so, yeah. It's definitely helped me have patience. That I realized my older sibling had, so I was like, I've learned to be much more patient, but they're wonderful to work with. It's not like they're rambunctious or anything, but yeah.
And then just kind of tell me, what's your favorite thing about the Newsies musical, and what do you think the audience will like most about it?
My favorite thing about Newsies is, I would say probably how unapologetic every single one of them are, and how it's literal kids standing up to these like mongrels and like these huge people, I guess, in corporations like Pulitzer and Hearst, who ran New York City for such a long time. And I think it's really inspiring that little kids change the game for like now. Like there's unions out here now and rules about child labor that have played such a big part into employments and all that jazz.
So now we're going to move on to Rachel. Rachel, tell us a little bit about your character and the role you play, and just like the personality, I guess.
Sure. So I play Bunsen, and she is typically played by a man, first of all, and she is the bookkeeper in Pulitzer's office. So I've decided a lot of times when men play him, he's very like stoic and boring a little bit in my opinion. So I've tried to make her a little bit more fun in creating that dynamic with the other women in the office.
So that was a personal choice you made, that you wanted to. Do you often play male characters, I guess, that you like to turn into more of like a feminine, more empowering type role?
Well, actually, that was the first question I had when I got cast is, am I playing this as a woman or am I a man? And they were like, nope, you are going to be a woman. We're making the choice that Bunsen is a woman. So it wasn't necessarily my choice. It was the director's choice, but yeah.
Cool. And then this isn't your first performance with the Little Theater, is it?
No, it is. This is my first time here. Not my first time on stage, but this one, yes.
And are you having fun so far?
Yeah.
Nice. And so I guess other than playing a traditionally male role as a female, what do you think is the other most difficult adjustment for the role?
I think it's challenging because my role, it's a smaller part that is integral to the story, but it's not one that is typically remembered. So trying to make this character memorable and trying to really plug her into the story, so it's not something that's, she's not just like a fixture in the scene, she's actually moving the story forward, has been a little challenging.
Cool. And then same closing question as Jeremiah, what's your favorite part about Newsies and what do you think the audience will like most?
I love the music. I think every song is an anthem, and it's really easy to root for these underdogs because they just have so much like gusto and joy and gumption, and I think that the music is really catchy, and I definitely think the audience will leave with the music in their heads.
So I'm now here with Jessie Klein. He is the director for Newsies, and I'm just going to ask him a few questions about Newsies and why he chose it and things like that. So to begin, just kind of tell me what Newsies is all about.
Newsies is a show that takes place in 1899. It's about the newsboys strike that occurred way back when. The show explores a lot of different themes from like workers' rights, unions, child labor, really the beginning of the Civil Rights Act and women's suffrage, which comes about 20 years later. So it's a pretty good show. Lots of choreography. That's kind of what it's known for. Is it won the Tony for Best Choreography when it came out in 2011, I believe. So yeah, no, it's a fantastic show. Very family friendly. Lots of different elements there. So yeah.
And so you're the director. Did you choose Newsies to be this musical, or was Newsies chosen and you were chosen to be director? Kind of walk me through that.
Yeah, so the way CLTP does it is they submit shows, the board approves the shows, and then they look for directors after. So I applied. Really the reason I applied is because I think it's a story that needs to be told, especially right now in 2025. I think it's really important that we don't overlook people who need to be looked at the most, especially kids. And there's lots of stuff going on right now that definitely are impacting everyone. So I think it's really important that we come together as a family, which is really what this show is about. Strength in numbers, lean on the people, stick up for what's right, and it's very good that they picked this show.
So you mentioned strength in numbers, and when I was sitting out there kind of watching some of the warm-ups, I saw a whole lot of people going across that stage. How many people are in this cast?
33 in the cast alone. I don't have an exact number on how many volunteers have worked on the show. It's a lot. If I had to guess, it'd probably be between somewhere like 60 to 70 volunteers total who have worked on the production. A lot of love, a lot of sweat, tears, labor, everything has gone into this show. We have people traveling all the way up from Colorado. We've gotten different costumes and set pieces from all across the country. We've had stuff that's come in from Omaha for the production. We're having a real-life actual printing press come up from Colorado. So it's a really cool production, lots of really interesting technical elements, but it is truly a family here. So.
Awesome. And then I asked Jeremiah and Rachel this, but I think it would be cool to get it from a director's perspective as well. Kind of what's your personal favorite thing about Newsies, and what do you think the audience will enjoy most?
My favorite thing about Newsies? Oh boy, that's a really tough question. I go back and forth because the writers, Ellen Mencken, they put a lot of different themes, and they really structured the show in a way that if there's something on stage, it's happening for a reason. They don't waste any time. So literally every moment of the story, there's an element of storytelling. The lyrics are absolutely incredibly well written. Listen to every word, because truly every word has a meaning. I feel like in other musicals or other plays or shows, there might be wasted time. just fluff added for fluff, but truly with this show, there's really no wasted time. So the lyrics would have to be a really high point. Choreography, the sense of family, the relationships that you get to see with Jack, Catherine, Crutchy, the elements of like love and support that come through on stage are really cool. And I think, again, the overarching message that, family, look out for the little guy. One of the quotes in the show particularly stands out to me. It's, I believe it's, you're going to have to check me on this. We can go look at the script later, but it's, keep your eyes on the stars, but your feet on the ground. I think it's just a really big, moment that, like, no matter who you are or where you are in life, like, if there's something that you believe in, you should stick up for it. And you should speak out and advocate for people. And that's really what the show is about. And I couldn't pick a favorite moment, but I think like the overall message is what's important.
So once again, that was Jeremiah O'Bryan, Rachel Strysik, and Jessie Klein, and they are directors and actors of Newsies, the Broadway musical, and they will be performing it here at the Mary Godfrey Theatre September 26th through 28th, October 3rd through 5th, and October 10th through 12th.
Thanks to Alyssa Tolman for bringing us that package this week. Now, here's our arts and entertainment reporter, Taylor Staples, to bring you a roundup of some upcoming events in Cheyenne and Laramie County this week.
Today, September 12th, there is the Cheyenne Greek Festival from 4 to 10 p.m. at the Cheyenne Frontier Days Exhibit Hall. The Greek Fest will also be on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Then, there's the Friday Art Walk taking place downtown starting at 5 p.m. On Saturday, September 13th, there's multiple craft shows happening, including the Heroes Fall Extravaganza Market at Christine & Co. from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and a craft show and flea market at VFW 1881 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Then there's also the Great Bison Shuffle 2, 5, or 10K at Terry Bison Ranch starting at 7:30 a.m. On the art side of things, there will be a flower pressing workshop at the Cheyenne Botanic Gardens from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m., as well as an introduction to Zentangle, also at the gardens, from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Also on Saturday, there's a Fall Crafting Harvest Festival at the library for children and families from 10 a.m. to noon, the Wyoming Aviation Festival at the 1960 Airport Terminal on 8th Avenue from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Day 1 of Anime 307 at the Event Center at Archer from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Cat Yoga at the Cats and Coffee Connections from 11 a.m. to noon. And finally, for shows happening on Saturday, there's the Gadbaugh and Krimmel Celtic Harp and Vocal Harmony Concert from 2 to 3:30 p.m. at the library's Performance Park. And there's a rescheduled Becky Robinson comedy show from March at 8 p.m. at the Cheyenne Civic Center. On Sunday, September 14th, there's Day 2 of the Wyoming Aviation and Air Show from 10 a.m. to 4, and Day 2 of Anime 307 from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then, also at 10 a.m., the Cheyenne Audubon Society will be cleaning up the Greenway, and Cats and Coffee Connections is hosting Meowingo from 1 to 3 p.m. Then on Tuesday, September 16th, this is National Voters Registration Day, so teens 18 and up and adults can register to vote at the library from 2 to 7 p.m. There's also a birdwatching event at 6 p.m. at the Cheyenne Botanic Gardens, and meditation at the library for adults from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. On Wednesday, September 17th, the library is hosting chair yoga and poetry from 11 to 11:40 a.m. The Cheyenne Creativity Center is hosting an open studio from 5:30 to 6 p.m., and there will be a Constitution Day celebration at the Wyoming State Capitol Auditorium from 2:15 to 3:30 p.m. Finally, on Thursday, September 18th, the library has a Read to a Therapy Dog session from 4 to 5 p.m., a living room conversations event, which is similar to a healthy debate from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., and a Crafty Critters Club event from 6 to 7 p.m. Finally, there will be a Kyle Kinane comedy show at 7 p.m. at the Lincoln. For more events, go to wyomingnews.com/calendar.
And lastly, before we close out today, here's a recap of some of our top stories and headlines from the past week. The Laramie County School District 1 Board of Trustees bi-monthly meeting got off to an unusual start, with 3 state lawmakers making an appearance for public comment, expressing concern about how the school district had implemented state legislative funds for teacher and staff raises. State lawmakers adjourned early Tuesday after realizing their committee meeting would be fruitless when members of the Wyoming Freedom Caucus blocked a slate of proposed gambling taxation legislation. The Select Committee on Capital Financing and Investments was set to consider 4 bill drafts that would have created a variety of changes, including increased taxation on the gambling industry to support Wyoming State Highway Fund and health services supporting gambling addiction. As home to 2 in-development data centers for 2 of the largest technology corporations in the nation, Meta and Microsoft, Cheyenne has become an epicenter for other companies looking to build such centers and power plants to support them. The most recent in this development is a partnership between Denver-based artificial intelligence company Crusoe and Cheyenne-based energy infrastructure company Tallgrass. And finally, an airman accused of involuntary manslaughter pleaded not guilty to all charges Monday afternoon in Laramie County District Court. Airman First Class Jaden Orr, 20 years old, is suspected of firing a gun through an apartment wall, resulting in the death of another airman from the base, 23-year-old senior airman Joshua Aragon. That's all for this week's episode of Wyoming Watch, and be sure to tune back in next Friday for more.